everyone. Good morning. This morning we are conducting an interview with Fred Lang, who is running for a board of directors position for the upcoming year. Good morning, Fred.
Morning, Vasa. Thank you.
Yes, it's good to have you here.
Good to be here. Quick introduction, Fred Lang, Section 4, Lot 76, been here since 2018. And looking forward to sharing some information today.
Excellent. So we have a few questions lined up for you. We're going to go ahead and start with the first question. The first question is, what motivated you to run for the board of directors?
Like others, I believe the collegiality demonstrated in the board's conduct can be improved. I approached a few friends I thought would be solid candidates, and when they declined, I felt like I needed to step up and offer myself as an alternative. In attending committee meetings and board meetings, I witnessed a lot of experience, intelligence, and leadership, and I would like to compliment the GM and the current board president on their expertise. I think they are our best hope of providing financial stability, community improvements, and clean lakes here at Lake of the Woods. Whichever candidates get selected in this election, I hope they will all work as a team with those that are returning to the best interest of the entire community.
Question number 2. What homework have you done or are going to do to prepare for this role?
Okay. I have navigated through the committees and the board of directors on behalf of the pickleball community, so I'm familiar with that side of the equation. I've also been on the pickleball tennis committee, and that has led me to some familiarity with the DMA and its predecessor, Miller Dodson, as a recapitalization forecasting tool that accumulates funds for the time when it's needed. Since committing to this adventure, I've attended numerous committee meetings and board meetings to help me get familiar with the key players and what the scope of their contribution is to the community through the BOD. Additionally, I've been introduced to the governing documents for Lake of the Woods that include the Virginia Homeowners Association Act, the Letters of Incorporation, the Declaration of Restrictions, better known as covenants, the community bylaws, and their rules and regulations. For homework, I would become more familiar with those as I'm going to need to do my duties as in oversight of those of the proposals to the board.
Fred, question number 3. What is your understanding of the board of directors' role in governance and how it relates to and interacts with the general manager?
The board should work as a team and apply confidentiality in those situations that require it. And it should also set up a climate of candid and respectful conversation between the members that lead to actionable decision making. Progress on strategic goals should be measured against key performance indicators. The board's focus should be on long-term sustainability of the organization and shaping strategic goals rather than day-to-day operation of the community. It does have responsibilities with regard to financial, legal, and ethical oversight of the organization and the general manager. The board should play a complementary and constructive role in supporting the general manager, but stay out of the business of day-to-day operations.
Next question, Fred. Social media has become a powerful influence on our society. What is your perspective on these platforms, and how can we best leverage the opportunities they present?
Okay. I think LOA is doing a good job through its Facebook page and its website, and it has also established a social media policy guide. They supplement this with timely information with emergency notifications through text, email, occasional e-blasts, updates on the offerings at the clubhouse and the fairways through the dish, and a few of the monitors around the property. I think the formal vehicles for transparency, feedback, and dialogue are in place. On the other side of the equation, we have these informal social media sites outside that sometimes provide good and timely information and stimulate conversation. It's been very good for tracking the black bear of late around the neighborhood. However, I think too often the tool is inappropriately used to target people personally and to pass a lot of misinformation. And I think that's damaging to the community in that it has to be addressed and corrections formally offered, and it takes time and effort, and it also is hurtful to people when you're targeting them, and sometimes anonymously. So I think all of that needs to be addressed and to some extent ignored. I think it diminishes the positive efforts that a lot of people are putting into making this a better community, and I think the time spent taking cheap shots would be better spent getting their facts straight and getting up to speed. And to paraphrase Theodore Roosevelt, it's not the critic that counts. The credit belongs to the person in the arena doing the work.
Fred, this is an important question to our community. Over the years, members have not been taking the time to submit their votes. So the question for you is, what are your ideas to increase voter participation in referendums?
Okay. Increasing participation in an HOA as large and diverse as we have here at Lake of the Woods requires making the engagement convenient, rewarding, and relevant. And those making the time to make inputs, constructive inputs to the community, should receive a hearing, feedback, and closure, even if that closure is not what they had hoped. A couple years ago, there was a max effort expended to pass 3 diverse referendums. I think in the end, the bundling may have been a mistake. It left us without the recapitalization referendum that was badly needed. They tried their best. There was repeated advocacy. They went door to door. They extended the voting period. So I think they did everything they could to get that passed. Hopefully there's been a lesson learned both by the board and by the community that when a lot of effort is expended at the community, board, and management level to make some critical changes, that they need to get themselves in the game. I believe those that voted in the majority to pass the referendum. Unfortunately, they did not get the quota, the 50% required to make that happen. And I think we're paying for that today, and that's one of the reasons that we're probably about $1 million short of where we would be if we'd had that capitalization fee passed. With regard to engagement at the board meetings, LOA already employs a diversity in board meeting scheduling. They provide Zoom opportunities to come in. They offer the ability to watch the meetings on YouTube after the fact. I think members would be more likely to attend if the meetings were more efficient and shorter and more productive. And I think that there's some things that can be done along those lines. Anything that can be done by unanimous consent ought to be done by unanimous consent. I think things that can be dealt with in executive session ought to be dealt with in executive session. I think there's also a shortfall right now in resolving issues one-on-one informally before it gets to the board. 3 board members can have a conversation and resolve issues before taking it out in public. And I think that more of that should happen, and everyone should be willing to participate in that.
Fred, Our next question. What do you consider the most important current issue facing Lakewood Woods Association, and how best to address them, the issues, the current issues?
The most pressing challenge facing LOA is balancing our community's financial health against the diverse infrastructure needs of a community of 4,200 homes and 8,400 people, actually more than that. Financially, we must proactively manage our revenue streams as support for the new construction and renovation stream dries up. And this has been anticipated for several years, and something needs to be done to offset that loss of revenue. So I am in support of the initiative to institute a common area fee for new home purchases, future home purchases, while the community engages in other cost-saving measures in an aggressive manner. This is a standard HOA financing tool and allows diversification of the revenue stream and will offset declining the NCR fees and mitigate future pressure on raising amenity fees. Passage of the referendum a couple years ago would have significantly improved the financial situation for us today, and this is an alternative to that measure. The other major thing I think needs to be addressed is community confidence in LOA's ability to plan and execute large capital projects. Much effort has been focused over the last 6 months. I've witnessed it in committee meetings and ad hoc meetings toward resolving issues that led to a couple of the major deficiencies that we've witnessed lately. But I'm sure the next project will have extreme oversight. They will have the proper engineering supervision and construction management in place. They will have risk mitigation in place, and future RFPs will be competitively reviewed. And all of these things, I think, should lead to a change of course with regard to major capital projects here at Lake of the Woods. That being said, at some point, LOA is going to have to step forward and execute their next major capital project. And we need to have all our ducks in line and restore the confidence of the community in LOA's ability to execute that.
And the last question, Fred, the one you are definitely not prepared for.
Oh,
It's
man.
a wild card question. And here it is. Give me your 30-second speech as to why you should be elected.
Okay. I think there's good candidate choices out there, and I'm not the only one. And there's probably some that are smarter than me, but I've proven that I'm willing to work hard, to show up. I've gained the confidence of many in the community for my ethics and for bringing work to completion. So that's what I have to offer, and I'd like to thank everybody who has encouraged me or put up my signs or didn't talk me out of this. So I appreciate everybody's support.